So if you consider the polynomial p of x equals 3x cubed plus 4x minus 3, and q of x, which equals x cubed minus 7x, the first thing we want to find is p of x plus q of x. So for this one, we're just going to have 3x to the power of 3 plus 4x minus 3, and then we're going to add on x cubed minus 7x. The next thing we need to do is just look for like terms. So the first like term that I can see is the 3x to the power of 3 and the plus x to the power of 3. The second like term I can see is the plus x to the power of 4 and the minus 7x. So if we collect our like terms, we end up with 3x to the power of 3 plus x to the power of 3 gives 4x to the power of 3. And then in our green, we're going to have 4x minus 7x, and that will give minus 3x. And then we've still got our minus 3 left over. So all up, p of x plus q of x is equal to 4x cubed minus 3x minus 3. Next, we're going to consider the same polynomials p of x and q of x, and this time we're going to do the subtraction p of x minus q of x. So p of x is going to be 3x to the power of 3 plus 4x minus 3, and then we're going to subtract off, and we need to open up a bracket and write down q of x. So we're going to have x to the power of 3 minus 7x. And that bracket's very important because when we expand that through, we're going to end up with positive 7x. So expanding that bracket out, we get 3x to the power of 3 plus 4x minus 3 minus x cubed plus 7x, because two negatives will give a positive. Next, we look for like terms again. So the first like term I can recognize is the 3x to the power of 3, and then minus x to the power of 3. And all up, that will give us 2x to the power of 3. The next like term we have is the plus 4x and the plus 7x, and that will give us plus 11x. And then, of course, we've still got minus 3 left. So all up, p of x minus q of x is equal to 2x cubed plus 11x minus 3. Now, it's important to note at this stage that similar to subtraction with numbers, p of x minus q of x is not equal to q of x minus p of x. And that's something that you can check for yourself by hand or with a calculator. The next thing we're going to do is use the same polynomials p and q, and this time we're going to do the multiplication of the two. So p of x times q of x can be written as 3x to the power of 3 plus 4x minus 3 multiplied by x to the power of 3 minus 7x. And now, like all bracketed multiplications, we're going to need to expand that. And the safest way to do that is using a grid. So we'll set up a grid like this with 3 columns and 2 rows. And above each of the columns, we're going to put the terms from this bracket here. So we're going to have 3x to the power of 3. We're going to have plus 4x, and we're going to have minus 3. And then down the side, we're going to put the terms from this bracket, which is going to be x to the power of 3 minus 7x. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the multiplication between each of the terms above and to the right of the cell. So that means for the first one, we're going to have 3x to the power of 3 multiplied by x to the power of 3. And all up, that's going to give 3x to the power of 6. In the next one, we're going to have 4x, and then we're going to multiply that by x to the power of 3, and all up that's going to give 4x to the power of 4. And likewise, we continue that process with all the boxes. So we have minus 3x to the power of 3 when we do the multiplication in that one. Then we have 3x cubed multiplied by negative 7x, which will give minus 21x to the power of 4, plus 4x minus 7x multiplied together will give minus 28x squared. And then finally, minus 3 multiplied by minus 7x will give positive 21x. So now all we need to do is add up all of those terms and then combine for like terms. So out of the box, the expansion will give 3x to the power of 6 plus 4x to the 4 minus 3x to the power of 3 minus 21x to the 4 minus 28x to the power of 2 plus 21x. And now going through, we can identify our like terms. So the first like term I can identify is the plus 4x to the power of 4 and minus 21x to the power of 4. And inspecting that, there's no other like terms, remembering that a like term contains the same variable raised to the same power. So we can now state that our final answer is 3x to the power of 6, and then our like term here is going to be minus 17x to the 4 minus 3x to the power of 3 minus 28x to the power of 2 plus 21x.